So the first thing is,
Entonces, la primera cosa es,
this is simply your ego.
esto es simplemente tu ego.
And the ego,
Y el ego,
there's two egos.
hay dos egos.
The one that tells us how incredible we are
Uno que nos dice lo increíbles que somos,
and we're superior to everything
somos
else.
superior a todo lo demás.
And another
Y
ego
otro ego
that's constantly criticizing us
está constantemente criticándonos
and pulling us down.
y como tirándonos hacia abajo.
And this is a place of the victim
Y ese es un lugar de la víctima.
where I don't have to take responsibility.
Yo no necesito tomar responsabilidad.
You know, I'm not good enough. There's something wrong with me. I can't do it. I can't get anything right.
No consigo hacer nada bien.
So there's a place
Y hay un lugar
where people sit
en donde las personas se instalan
in this place of smallness.
como en un lugar de pequeñez.
Okay? So when you see that,
Entonces, cuando ves eso,
you just have to cut it with a facet.
simplemente le pones la faceta y con eso
You
lo
know,
vas
just laugh at it
y te ríes de
because you know the program.
porque tú conoces cuál es tu programa.
And just love creates me in my
Y
perfection.
tú piensas, amor me crea mi perfección.
Love creates me in my
Amor me
perfection.
crea mi perfección.
And when you have that insecurity,
Cuando aparece esa inseguridad,
yes, automatically you don't trust the external.
claro, automáticamente no vas a confiar en lo externo.
If you're not trusting in you,
Si no confías en ti,
you're not going to trust in the
vas a
outside.
andar confiando en la afuera.
Yeah? So it's automatic.
Así que es automático.
But it's just a thought.
Pero es solo un pensamiento.
And it's a common thought.
Ese pensamiento es súper común.
That's why we have the
Por
facets.
eso es que tenemos las facetas.
You know, they seem so simple.
Parece súper simple.
You think, oh, how can they help?
Ustedes por ahí piensan, ¿cómo puede esto ayudarme?
But you have to remember,
Pero tienen que recordar
it's a simple thought
un pensamiento muy simple
that pulls you to the ground.
que te lleva a la tierra.
It stops you from trusting in yourself.
Deja de confiar,
It's constantly criticizing you.
constantemente criticando.
It's a simple thought.
Es un simple pensamiento.
So you need a counter thought.
Entonces tú necesitas otro pensamiento para contrarrestarlo.
And this
Y es eso
is moving towards the highest
lo que
vibration.
te va moviendo hacia una vibración más elevada.
And it's opening your
Y
heart.
está abriendo tu corazón.
Love
Amor.
creates me in my
En mi
perfection.
perfección.
Oh, but I believe the other thought.
Ah, pero yo le creo más al otro pensamiento.
Can't do anything right.
No puedo hacer
I'm
nada,
stupid.
soy estúpido.
Yeah, you believe that.
Sí, claro, eso te lo crees sin problema.
But when I tell you love creates you in your
Tu
perfection,
amor me crea mi perfección.
I don't know.
Ay, no sé.
Oh, what's love?
¿Qué es el amor?
You have to see that too.
Tienes que ver eso.
This ease to believe in the negative,
Esta facilidad para creer realmente lo negativo.
that things can't go well, that something will go wrong, that there's something wrong with
Hay
me.
algo malo conmigo.
That's easy to believe.
Eso es súper fácil de creer.
Now we have to change the chip.
Entonces ahora tenemos que cambiar el chip.
And it's not that we're washing our
No que
brains.
estamos lavándonos el cerebro.
We're trying to create an
Estamos
experience
tratando de crear una experiencia
that will start to sustain
que comenzará a sostener
those higher vibrations.
vibraciones más elevadas.
So we will see that mirrored externally.
Así que vamos a ver eso reflejado en lo externo.
Because this is a mirror.
Porque todo esto afuera es solo un espejo.
It's just a big mirror
Es un gran espejo
of what's happening
de
here.
aquello que está sucediendo dentro.
Sometimes I feel I have resistance to let go of attachment, even if I understand in the hand, because I feel the relationship is going to fall. If there is no need of attachment, there will not be relationship. No?
You know, it's a habit.
Es un hábito ese.
It's a big
Es
habit.
un súper hábito.
And it comes from
Eso
fear,
viene del miedo.
but a very old
Pero es
fear.
un miedo súper viejo.
It's the fear of a child
Es el miedo a un niño
that can't find its mother.
que no puede encontrar a mamá.
And it's not something
Y no es
conscious.
algo que es consciente.
You can be in a
Tú
relationship
puedes estar en una relación.
and you can be clear that it's finished.
Puedes estar claro que está
In fact, it might be a big drama,
que de hecho es un gran drama,
but you feel
pero sientes
not wanting to let it go.
que no lo quieres soltar.
And you have to just see it
Y simplemente tienes que ver
and
eso
just do
y
it.
simplemente hacerlo. ¿sí?
And then you see, oh,
Después vas a ver,
yeah, it was just a choice.
era solo una elección que
Because
requería.
there's so much involved in relationships,
Porque en las
no?
relaciones hay tanto que está involucrado.
There's your friends, there's their family, the things you do together, the house, the this, the that. It's not just one
No
thing.
es solo una cosa.
You know, everything's attachment.
Todo es apego.
So it's not so
Así
easy.
que no es tan fácil.
But if you're clear,
Pero si estás claro,
you have to cut clean.
tienes que cortar así limpio.
Or you start doing this, no?
Vas a empezar a hacer esto.
And that doesn't work.
Eso no funciona.
It doesn't go anywhere.
No va a ningún lugar.
Just takes you into a place of
No
suffering.
te lleva a un lugar de sufrimiento.
So I know one thing,
Así que entonces,
that if you let go,
que si sueltas
what is yours,
lo que es tuyo,
what is for
lo
you,
que es para ti,
comes back,
vuelve.
or it's here.
O lo vas a tener enfrente.
Okay? So you can let anything go.
Puedes dejar ir lo que sea.
And that fear of losing
Ese miedo a perder
is an illusion.
es una ilusión.
Anything real you can never lose.
Cualquier cosa real jamás puedes perder.
Okay, so just see that.
Así que
And put the
simplemente
facets there.
pon las facetas ahí.
Just put the facets there
Las facetas ahí
and let it go.
y suelta,
Let it go.
suelta.
Hmm? You know that.
Eso lo sabes.
You can do it. You're strong.
Lo puedes hacer, eres fuerte.
Yeah.
Fuerte.
Next question.
My question is also about relationships. No? The relationship can interfere in the process, or it's possible to have a process, internal process, how I need to get what I want.
If you're focused on consciousness, you're focused on
Si estás
consciousness.
enfocada en la conciencia, estás enfocada en la conciencia.
It doesn't matter who you're with.
No importa con quién estés,
It's in your
está
hands.
en tus manos.
How does someone stop you being focused
¿Cómo
on
puede alguien
consciousness?
más parar tu foco en la conciencia?
Because you're in a constant drama.
Porque estás en un drama constante.
That doesn't serve.
Bueno, eso no sirve.
But you can use it to
Pero tú
grow.
puedes usar eso justamente para crecer.
But the choice
Pero la elección
in each
en
moment
cada momento
is yours.
es tuya.
It can't be someone
No puedes
else's.
darla de alguien más.
So you have to make that
Tú
decision.
tienes que tomar esa decisión.
But you have to make the decision and do it.
Pero tienes que tomar la decisión y hacerla.
Don't do this oscillating.
La oscilación.
Either commit 100%
Comprometes un 100%
to you and the
a
relationship,
ti y a la relación.
or cut the relationship
Corta la
and commit
relación,
to you 100%.
pero te comprometes contigo un 100%.
You've got to do anything, whatever you do it
Lo que sea que hagas,
100%.
Tienes que hacer un 100%.
Yeah?
Hola. It was similar, the question, to the last one, but more general, actually. I want to know you to talk about letting go in general. Let go of the failures, the conflict, the relationships, the sickness, not get hooked.
You know, at some point in our
En
lives,
algún momento en nuestra vida
we have to be very clear
tenemos que estar muy claros.
that this changes all the time.
Esto externo cambia todo el
So we have to have something very solid and very
tiempo,
permanent
sólido y permanente.
internally that can witness the outside.
Igual en la fuente.
It doesn't mean we're not going to be affected,
Significa que no vamos a ser afectados.
but we can't lose ourselves in everything that transpires.
¿Qué acontece?
Okay, so the only thing important
Cosa que es importante
is to cultivate
es cultivar
an internal safe house,
una casa segura interna.
and that's
Y eso
consciousness.
es la conciencia.
And with that
En
space,
ese espacio
you have trust,
tú tienes confianza.
and you start to flow,
Vas a empezar a fluir.
and you start to make new
Empiezas
choices
a elegir cosas
that will
nuevas
take you to a higher
que te van a llevar
point.
a un mundo más elevado.
You know, you can't keep
No puedes seguir
doing this all the
haciendo
time
esta duda todo el
because
tiempo.
it's so fragile
Porque es tan frágil
and it's so
y
impermanent.
tan impermanente.
Everything changes,
Todo cambia,
everything.
todo.
So you have to be here.
Así que tú tienes que estar aquí.
You have to have this place of
Tienes que tener
silence.
este lugar interno de silencio.
You have to have this place
Tener este lugar
where you trust
en el que tú confías.
that everything's flowing
Todo
perfectly.
está fluyendo perfectamente.
Now, when I say flowing perfectly,
Cuando digo fluyendo perfectamente,
it doesn't mean Disneyland,
no significa que va
no.
a ser Disneylandia.
There's going to be
Van a
problems.
haber problemas,
There's going to be things that
van a haber
happen.
cosas que acontecen.
Life's like
La vida
that.
es así.
But you have to be
Tú
good with
tienes que
you.
estar bien contigo.
And that's the most important thing. Because that's what's sustaining you.
Justamente lo que te está sosteniendo.
What I want to ask you is I'm a very extremely sensitive person. And when we had been doing the facets, I feel I am a person that I really get sick very easy because I'm thinking in my family, the people that is sick, trying to see how can I resolve. I'm thinking on selling my house that is too big because I have 5 children that are not there anymore. They got married. And with the facets, within the facets, I had been thinking a lot in that.
Okay, you know, the thing, firstly,
Primero,
you have to use the facets to anchor
tienes que usar las facetas para anclar,
because you're flying around.
porque estás volando por ahí.
Okay, secondly,
Segundo,
you use the facet.
usas la faceta.
It doesn't matter what thoughts you
En
have.
realidad no importa qué pensamientos hay,
Come back to the facet.
vuelves a la faceta.
Thoughts, facet, thoughts, facet. But the thing is,
Pero la cosa es
you're going to start moving
que vas a
emotion.
empezar a mover emociones.
That's why you're out. You're like,
Por eso estás como desconectado.
and you have to go very deep
Tienes que ir muy profundo
and go and express
y expresar lo que sientes con
and start moving all of these fears and doubts and anxieties
todas esas ansiedades.
so you're more centered.
Así vas a estar más centrada.
Okay, it's important for you to be centered.
Es importante estar centrada.
Okay, and the facets will help a lot with
Te
that.
van a ayudar un montón con
But firstly, you have to empty.
tienes que vaciarte.
Okay, and that will happen here.
Y eso va a suceder.
We'll teach you how to do that. Yeah?
¿Cómo hacer eso?
But you need to go and talk to the
Pero
teachers.
necesitas ir a hablar arriba con los maestros.
Hmm? You're welcome. De nada.
Several times I heard you telling people, go out and give. Personally, I can have a lot of interpretations of that, but I would like you to talk what you are talking about when you say giving.
So, you know, people
Las personas
tend to focus on their misery,
tienen la
no?
tendencia a enfocarse en su propia
I say focus on their belly buttons,
Se
no?
enfocan en el ombligo, ¿no?
What's wrong? What's happening? What's wrong in my... And it's so important
Súper importante
to give.
dar.
The people that have the
Las
system,
personas que tienen el
I tell them to support other
que
people.
apoyen a otras personas.
Give consciousness. Because all the answers come from within us.
Van a venir de dentro nuestro.
And also to go out into the world and give. See situations where you can give.
Situaciones en las que pueden dar.
So you can feel good about yourself.
Sentir bien consigo mismo.
Because misery loves to engage, no?
Está encerrarse.
It likes to feel like this, go down. But if you go out,
Si tú sales,
you give your consciousness, you do something to give to society, something that gives you energy
te da energía
and makes you feel good with you.
bien contigo.
Yeah, there's many ways of giving.
Formas de dar.
And to tell people what you see
Personas a que
with clarity and honesty and transparency,
transparencia.
that's a big thing.
Eso es enorme.
You know, I'll tell anyone anything.
Yo le digo a cualquiera lo que sea.
I'll give in any moment.
Doy en cualquier momento.
But I'm completely
Yo
transparent.
soy completamente transparente.
And this is another thing.
Esas son las cosas.
You know, to be vulnerable
Ser vulnerable
is to give.
es dar.
Instead of putting on a mask and pretending,
Para fingir.
be 100%
Sé
human.
un 100% humano.
Say how you feel.
Di cómo te sientes.
Be emotional.
Sé emotiva.
Speak your truth.
Habla tu verdad.
That's giving too.
Eso es dar también.
Give, yeah, it's a general word.
Es una palabra general.
Because when I talk about it,
Cuando yo hablo,
I'm talking about every aspect of your being. Not just like
solamente
going to the soup kitchen.
el ir a una cocina popular.
Yeah, it's not that.
No es.
That's good too.
Eso es buenísimo también.
But you know, it's such an important thing to give.
Una cosa súper importante.
It could be picking up bottles in the beach.
Podría ser ir a recoger botellas de plástico en la playa.
It could be anything.
Podría ser cualquier cosa.
But there's so many ways we can give.
Las formas en las que podemos dar.
My question is, I have a relationship of 37 years of marriage with my husband. And lately, we cannot talk. We think all the conversations become a fight. Or suddenly he tells me, you are not listening to me. So I would like to know, how do I do this?
So you know what?
¿Sabes?
You have a lot of stress around this
Tienes
relationship.
mucho estrés alrededor de la relación.
And it's so great that you came here.
Y es buenísimo que
Because obviously you have fears, judgments, stuff you need to move. And then when you go back, you're going to be different. You know, so often when we have such long relationships, we have a lot of resentment and a lot of expecting them to stay the same. Like we've got this thing like, oh, you're always like that. Oh, you're always like that. And you've got the list of ammunition in the back pocket of all the things he did wrong. And you have like closed. You're closed. Here you're going to remove all of that and you'll be present. You'll be able to listen. And maybe with new ears and new eyes. But maybe you'll make new choices. Because that situation is toxic, no? No one wants to live in that situation. He didn't come, did he? Oh, lástima. But you can do it without him anyway. But you need to move it all. And the facets will pull that out. You know, it's incredible because so many relationships find a new life in this place. Or they find a termination. You know, we need to find something. You can't just sit in the middle where no one's happy, no? But once you let go of all the stuff, things change. Yeah? You don't believe me? She's like, oh. See? Yeah. And that's the thing. That's why he says you're not listening. Maybe you're not listening. Because you're sick of listening. I understand. You move it all here.
I want to ask a little bit about attachment. How it starts? Like to see if I can stop it before.
Okay, the thing is this. Humans attach to everything. You know, you can put them in a tiny little room with a little vase and one flower and a bed, and they will attach to it. That's my vase, it's my flower, it's my bed. I've got to look after it, you know. Because all of our love's external. All of our security is external. Because that's what makes us feel safe. So how do we stop that? We have to find something stronger, something bigger. And that's consciousness. Once you've got this, you see the attraction to attachment, which is an addiction, huh? It's the same as a cigarette, alcohol, control, everything. Attachment is an addiction because it makes us suffer. And you see this and you do this. You come back here. And it's the greatest thing to let go of attachment. Because everything comes abundantly and everything flourishes. If you're in a relationship and with two powerful people that are not attached, we push each other into our greatness. But when everyone's attached, we pull each other down because there's fear. Oh, don't fly too high. I can't keep up. Come back. Yeah, don't you love me? Why are you leaving? I'm going to work.
Me voy a trabajar.
But that's extreme.
Un poquito extremo.
But it happens, huh?
Sucede.
It happens.
Sucede.
So you have to see that.
Así que tienes que ver eso.
So we have to cultivate something more here,
Cultivar algo más grande que
where we have security
donde
here.
tengamos la seguridad dentro.
Yeah?
Seguro. I like a lot the order and the control at home, in my finances, and in my work. And there is a place where I put a lot of energy into that because it makes me feel secure, safe. And I want you to talk about that.
You know, I think the thing's this.
Creo que la cosa es,
In work,
en el trabajo,
in certain things,
ciertas cosas,
it has to be clear,
tiene
no?
que ser súper claro.
It's not that we're all just going to throw everything in the air and go and kiss trees.
Y vamos a besar a los árboles.
No, no, no. There has to be order.
Tiene que haber orden.
But we have to see
Pero
this.
tenemos que ver
If there's fear.
si hay miedo involucrado.
And when there's
Y
fear,
cuando hay miedo,
that's when you have to be constantly coming
tienes
back.
que estar constantemente volviendo a ti.
Because there's a certain
Porque
rigidity.
hay una cierta rigidez ahí.
You know, excellence
La
isn't
excelencia
rigid.
no es rígida
It's clear and then it lets
y
go.
después suelta.
It's clear and then it lets go.
Suelta.
And you have to do that.
Tienes que poder hacer eso.
But if it's clear
Pero si está
and you're guarding it like a lion,
custodiando como un león,
that's suffering.
no, eso es sufrimiento.
And that's
Y
attachment.
eso es apego.
And it's interesting because you
Es
both
interesante porque ustedes ambos
are like that.
son así.
You're both very así,
Y
no?
así, ¿no?
Yeah, well, you have to just see that mirrored
Tienes que ver eso reflejado
and start to let go.
y empezar a soltar.
Yeah, that's all.
Eso es todo. Es el fiel.
Well, don't.
Y no,
Focus on consciousness. If it's making you suffer,
te hace sufrir.
you should be more afraid of suffering.
Tendrías que tener más miedo a sufrir que
That's a
a
very simple word.
Es una palabra muy fácil. de
Oh, I
decir,
feel
¿no?
fear.
Oh, tengo miedo.
Well, dissolve it,
Disolve el miedo,
lose it.
perderlo,
Ah.
atravesarlo.
Oh, the look's not very much control, huh?
No, no parece, por cómo se ve, no parece control.
It's very cash.
Es muy casual,
Ah.
relajado, ¿no?
Hey, como hippie, huh?
Como casi hippie.
Dali. I know these people for a long time,
Ya
huh?
hace mucho que conozco a esta gente.
You know, if you're wondering why I have these conversations,
Tengo conversaciones con algunos.
some of these people I've known since they were kids.
Algunos casi los conozco de gran jovencitos.
No, yeah.
First time I'm here. Bienvenida. I want you to talk about should be, have to be. Since long I'm traveling and outside I can be, and when I come back to my city, to my country, ¿dónde es? In Chile, Chile. La Serena. Every time I come back, starts the should. I have to have house, car. When I travel, I feel free, a free soul.
So your family's at home
Tu familia está en casa.
and your family's in your
Y
head
tu familia está en tu cabeza.
of all the things you should do
Todas las cosas que ya tendrías
to be
que
successful,
ser exitosa.
and you suffer that.
Y lo sufres eso.
And then you want to run away again.
Después quieres salir volando, viajar de nuevo.
You know, you have to create a new house,
Tienes que crear una nueva casa.
and it's here.
Y está aquí dentro
And from this space,
de ese lugar.
things are allowed to
Las
unfold.
cosas se pueden desarrollar.
Because how you're talking,
Porque cómo estás hablando.
it's obligatory, no? It's an obligation.
Una obligación que tienes.
Now I get a house, now I get a car, now I get married, now I have children. It's like a reglement, no? And you don't need that. Things have to come from the heart. Oh, I'll get a house. But with enthusiasm, no? Not I have to get a house, I have to get a car, I have to... You know, it has to come from there.
No, tiene que venir de tu corazón.
And maybe it's not what you want.
Y tal vez no es lo que quieres.
And this is what you've got to be clear about.
Y en eso tienes que estar clara.
You've got to be clear, what do I want? What is it that my heart desires? Because obviously you have the freedom
Tú tienes la libertad
and the power
y el poder
to do what you want.
para hacer lo que quieres.
You're not a person that's afraid to leave the city or afraid to whatever.
Miedo a lo que sea.
So you just have to be clear.
Tienes que estar clara.
But the most important thing is this house. And from there, you can build anything. Anything. That's what you have to get. And that's why you came here, to get internal clarity. But don't automatically resist things, because it comes from your parents, no? I don't know if you do that, like if you're a little bit rebelde. So don't do that either. Be open to everything. Yeah.
First time I come here. Oh, tomorrow my birthday as a gift from my mom. 2 years ago I divorced and I want to let go of that. And I have 2 children. And how to confront the divorce issue, how I'm going to take it. What can I do to be calmer?
You know, the first thing is you have to let go of everything. Like all the resentment or disillusionment or whatever it is with the marriage falling. Because you're still very sad, and I imagine it wasn't your idea. So you have to heal all of that. And then once you get to that point, you'll be clear what you need to do. How you're going to respond to the ex-husband, how you're going to react with the children. That will come from your heart. But you have to heal you first, because you're very sad. And that's why your mother sent you here, so you can heal this. You know, for me, the most important thing is that when people separate and there's children involved, it has to be something very healthy. It has to be 2 adults making a choice and feeling love and not demonstrating victimism or competition or fear or daddy did this or mummy did that and blah, 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 blah. It has to be a mature thing, so the children can see that even when we're flowing in a situation, the love's still present, no? Because, yeah, sure, you know, people don't last forever anymore. And a lot of people that are, it's like hellfire anyway. And some are excellent. But you can't have that expectation. So we have to heal. And we have to trust. And we have to feel good with ourselves. And once we feel good with ourselves, everything starts to come from love. Yeah, not from insecurity. And that's the important thing. You have to feel good with you. Yeah, because the children, everything flows from that point. Everything flows from that point. Yeah, and you've got to cry, 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 cry. And move it all.
I have a doubt. When you talk about being transparent or saying what you think, I take it when you say it that side, no? What happened when I want to tell someone, because I can initiate a conflict even to my worker, for example. You are lazy. To my husband, I cannot handle you like this. To be so honest, so transparent, saying those things, you can start a conflict, saying a lot of things.
The first thing is, you have to move your stress. Like, you know, you can have judgments and resentments, and you have to move all of that by healing that internally. And then you can say things from a place of clarity, but without the charge. You know, I feel that we're carrying your weight, that you could do more, that we could work more as a unit. Like, it comes from a more mature place. Not from a place of explosion, no, or resentment. Because if you're in a work environment and everyone's resented, that doesn't serve either. And some people need to be told. You know, they need to hear. Because sometimes people just can't see themselves. They think they're doing great and they're dragging everyone down. And that can be a gift. It doesn't have to be something negative. But it has to come from compassion, a place of love. You know, I tell my workers everything. I'm not talking about my teachers. I'm talking about my work. But I tell them from a place of empowerment, no? To their faces. You know, and you have to be in that point. The people you're working with. Huh?
I have a question about love consciousness and the facets. I'm the type of person that likes to be reminded constantly that the facets, would they be deposits that we make into ourselves so that we can get to a place of love consciousness?
Okay, the thing's this. The facets are unified consciousness. Okay, our bodies, everything is energy. And we vibrate in different frequencies, no? Fear, which is very slow vibration. And love consciousness, or unconditional love, which is a very high vibration. The facets are unified consciousness, the highest level of unconditional love. So when we start to think those facets, the nature of love is to naturally move towards the highest vibration. And the facets create that. They create this experience of what I call love consciousness. A place of peace, a place of joy, a place of abundance, a permanent place. Not just when we're doing the facets, but we're trying to stabilize it so we have it all the time. Okay. What is the consequence of the facets? Everything that vibrates in a low frequency starts to leave. So our resentments, our stresses, our fears, our memories that cause anxiety, everything that stops us from feeling free and abundant and trusting in ourselves, all of that starts to leave. And we start to have the experience of love, but a real experience. And then we start to become the actions of love. How? Because we're so present, we start to witness ourselves, our behaviours that robotically take us into suffering. And we start to change them. You know, we often repeat the same patterns in a million different situations because they're robotic. They're programs. And we don't even know we're doing it. We just do it because it's habitual. And when we're present and we're anchored here, we go, oh, that doesn't serve anymore. And we change. Oh, and we have realizations. Oh, I do that. Oh, and I change. And this starts to grow more and more and more and more. Yeah? So yes, every time you think a facet, you're expanding consciousness. Every time. So all those 60,000 to 100,000 thoughts,
60,000 a 100,000 pensamientos.
you can start replacing them with
Puedes
facets.
empezar a reemplazarlos pensando las facetas.
You can listen to people and think facets.
Puedes escuchar a una persona y estar pensando en facetas.
And you're an airline hostess?
Tú como azafata de
Well, you
avión,
need lots of facets.
necesitas usar mucho
Because
las
people are really
Las
annoying.
personas son súper molestas en el vuelo.
Yes? How good you're here.
Qué bueno que estés aquí. Hola, hola.
Hola.
I'm Patricia from Paraguay, and it's my first time here. It's really a pleasure to have you here. I'm learning so much of what you are saying already. And there is a personal thing that I would love to share with you. And it has to do with my marriage of 20 years. I divorced 4 years ago, and 2 years ago I divorced. A couple of months ago, it was a relationship, healthy. I have 2 children. We really manage well. Never was an inconvenience, no with the children, no with us, no with anything. I let him do the life how he wanted. I never put an obstacle, and I shut down. I shut down at home. I didn't go out. I had a couple of friends. Then they tried to hold me all this time. I put a lot of weight, 30 kilos. And 2 years ago, I said, I cannot continue like that. I started a process to recuperate. And now this coming back together maybe. We don't want the same thing. We don't want to fail. But we are different today. How not to lose the opportunity that life gives. We have the family, and I love family. A tip or something.
Good, lots of tips. Okay. Okay, firstly, you can't fail.
Primero es imposible fracasar.
And even the divorce in the beginning,
Incluso el divorcio al principio.
it wasn't a
No
failure.
es que fue un fracaso.
It's just an
Es
experience.
solo una experiencia.
Okay, you have to start trusting in you.
Tienes que empezar a confiar en ti.
Obviously, you have more maturity.
Obviamente tienes más madurez.
But you're looking at this from a place of fear.
Estás mirando esto desde un lugar de miedo.
Already you're talking about what if we
Ya
fail?
estás hablando y qué pasa si fracasamos.
Why?
¿Por qué?
Because all of your force is focused on that.
Toda tu fuerza está enfocada en eso.
And it has to be focused on you.
Tiene que estar enfocada en ti.
You loving you,
Amándote,
you feeling secure in you,
sintiéndote seguro.
you getting your body back.
Tú recuperando tu cuerpo.
You.
Tú.
Forget about him, and us.
Y nosotros.
That will be a
Esto va a
consequence
ser una consecuencia
that will work
que va a funcionar
or not work.
o no funcionar.
But you have to feel good with you,
Tú te tienes que sentir.
or else you're in the same boat.
Si no vas a estar en el mismo barco,
You're not feeling well with
tú
you.
no te estás sintiendo bien contigo ahora.
And that's the first thing you have to
Eso es
do.
lo primero que tienes que atender.
You have to heal
Sanarte
yourself.
en ti.
Really? You should do the 6 months. It'd be great for you.
Tendrías que hacer los 6 meses.
You lose 30
Bueno,
kilos
sería, perderías los 30 kilos
and you'll look like $1 billion.
te verías como una billón dólar always.
Yeah, that's what you need. No, but you need to work on you
No, necesitas trabajar contigo, sobre ti,
and let all this go.
y soltar todo esto.
Go and express.
Ve a expresar mucho.
So you go, if you do go back into the relationship,
Entonces, si entras de vuelta en la relación,
from a place of
lo
joy,
vas a hacer de un lugar dichoso,
not a place of fear.
no de un lugar de miedo.
Because all you're doing, all I hear
Porque
is
ahora
fear.
lo único que escucho es miedo.
You see this?
¿Lo ves?
And you have to heal
Y
that
tienes que sanar eso
and trust.
y confiar.
Yes? That's my tip.
Ese es mi tip.
Bueno, en el tiempo que llevo haciendo el sistema, siento que
Since I'm practicing the system, I feel I changed so much. I'm super grateful for that. But there is a place I always fall. That is want to be right. And question was a little bit like that. What can I do with that? But maybe there is no solution. Just accept it.
Okay. The thing is,
La cosa es
it's a place of ego, no?
que es un lugar del ego, ¿no?
And it's not a big, proud ego.
Y tampoco es un ego tan orgulloso de sí
It's a
mismo.
place where you hear them telling
En
you,
el que vos estás diciendo,
I'm not doing it well.
no lo hago bien,
I'm not sufficient.
no soy suficiente.
And that's where the fight comes from.
Y es ahí donde viene la pelea.
The need to be right.
La necesidad
You
de
need to
razón.
listen. I'm doing it right.
Yo lo estoy haciendo.
I know.
Yo sé.
And you always have to have the last word,
Siempre tienes
no?
que tener la última palabra.
Like they'll say, da, 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 and
Como
you,
dice, da, 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 da.
okay. And that causes you to suffer.
Eso te causa sufrimiento.
Because if you trust in yourself,
Simplemente estás confiando en ti.
they're just
No son
ideas.
ideas.
And everyone has a different idea.
Cada uno tiene ideas distintas
There's no need to
y
fight.
no hay necesidad de pelear.
Just keep letting
Solo
go.
a seguir soltando.
Keep letting go.
Seguir soltando.
And you start, use the facets.
Y usa las facetas.
It's an addiction.
¿Qué es una adicción?
It's a complete addiction.
Una adicción completa.
And it's very habitual in Argentinians.
Una súper habitual.
No, but it's incredible.
Es impresionante.
You hop in a taxi
Uno entra al taxi
and he'll start fighting with you.
y empieza a pelear.
She'll say, go this way. So, no, 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 we're going to go this way. And she'll say, but yeah, I want to go this way.
Pero yo quiero ir por ahí.
When I say she, this one. Yeah, blah, 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 blah.
Ella
And they start fighting.
empieza a pelear.
And it's like, it happens everywhere.
Y sucede en todas partes.
It's very, very much in the culture.
Súper en la cultura.
So you need to stop,
Así que necesitas parar,
do something
hacer
different,
algo diferente,
focus on consciousness, surrender,
rendirse,
and you'll feel better.
te vas a sentir mejor.
It's just a habit,
Te puedes sentir
like having a cigarette.
como fumarse un cigarrillo.
I'm going to fight.
Voy a pelear.
My question is, I'm a child psychologist, children's psychology, and I work with very vulnerable children, no? And I feel very fulfilled. I really love what I do. But within the family I love, there are people that are very complicated in general. Partners, family, sisters. And I don't know how to help them. And I get frustrated because within my work I'm so good. I love what I do and I do very
And
well.
the family doesn't
Y
listen.
la familia no te escucha.
No, it's not that we are in different positions.
Yeah, I understand.
Very attached. And so I get frustrated and I feel they're not being good enough for them.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what to do.
Te voy a decir qué hacer.
You have to let go.
Tienes que soltar.
Because you're attached
Porque tú estás
to them recognizing you.
ellos te reconozcan.
You're attached
Estás apegado
to their
a
approval.
su aprobación.
And you have to let that go.
Tienes que soltar.
And allow them to have their own experience.
Tengan su propia experiencia.
Because the more you enter into conflict,
Porque más entres en conflicto,
the worse the situation
peor
gets.
va a estar la situación.
But you have to see this place in you
Que ver este lugar en ti.
that's looking for
Está
approval.
buscando aprobación.
And it might not be here,
Y tal vez no es consciente.
but as you start to
A
unify,
medida que vas unificando,
you'll start seeing that immature
ese
place.
lugar inmaduro.
Because, and then you can heal it.
Después vas a poder sanarlo tú.
You know, things that are closer to home,
Cosas que están muy cercanas a casa.
because that's where all the programs start.
Ahí empezaron todos los programas.
They're always much stronger.
Siempre son mucho más fuertes.
So it's great. You'll heal that.
Vas a sanarlo.
And you want to know something interesting?
Saber algo interesante.
The minute you let
El
go,
momento que tú lo sueltas,
but from a place of
en
love,
lugar de amor,
they change
ellos van
automatically.
a cambiar automáticamente.
Because now it's this.
Porque ahora es esto.
The mirror
Al espejo responde.
is, responding.
Resiste.
Great. Nice that you work with
Qué
children.
bueno que trabajes con niños.
You have to find out about our education
Tienes
program.
que enterarte del programa educativo.
It's very beautiful.